So in this video, I want to talk to you about Anacaona, the heroine of the Caribbean, the legend, the legacy, and the resistance. You see, in the Caribbean archipelago, with its azure waters and lush landscapes, this was once home to the Taino people, a thriving Arawakan-speaking civilization. Before the arrival of Columbus and the European conquest, the Taino cultivated not only the land but rich traditions of art, diplomacy, and mythology. Among their revered figures, one name rises above others as a symbol of resilience, cultural pride, and tragic sacrifice, and that name is Queen Anacaona. She was a queen, a poet, a diplomat, and a warrior. Anacaona's life and legend straddled the boundaries between history and myth, embodying the spirit of resistance against a stark colonialism and even genocide. Anacaona was born around 1474 in Zaragua, one of the five chiefdoms or caciques of Hispaniola. This is an island that's split between Haiti and Dominican Republic. Her name, which means golden flower, foretold her destiny as a daughter of Chief Bohechio and niece to the legendary Caonabo, a powerful Taino warrior who led resistance against the Spanish. Anacaona was immersed in birth from leadership and diplomacy and the spiritual traditions of her people. From such a very young age, Anacaona showed extraordinary promise. Unlike the patriarchal societies of Europe, Taino society allowed women to become caciques or chieftainesses if they were of noble lineage and demonstrated the requisite wisdom and strength. In other words, it was not uncommon to see a female warrior. Anacaona was educated in the oral traditions of her people, in the songs, the rituals, the poetries, the sacred myths of the Zemis, the ancestral spirits. Her sharp mind and eloquent speech earned her a reputation as a wise and beloved figure long before she took political power. In terms of marriage and diplomacy, Anacaona's political life began when she married Caonabo, the cacique of Maguana, uniting two powerful Taino chiefdoms. This alliance was not just political, it was also deeply spiritual and symbolic. Caonabo, known for his fierce opposition to the Spanish conquest, was one of the first indigenous leaders to actually openly attack the invaders. In 1493, he led an assault on the Spanish fortress of La Navidad, built by Columbus on his first voyage. Anacaona was not just a consort to Caonabo, she was his equal, advising and supporting his decisions while maintaining her own influence in Zaragua. The partnership represented the unity of resistance and culture. After Caonabo was captured by the Spanish, betrayed, and taken in chains to Spain, where he died en route, Anacaona returned to Zaragua. There, even without her husband, she stepped into leadership, still becoming a cacique upon the death of her brother Bohechio. The golden flower began to reign at this time, and so as queen of Zaragua, Anacaona ruled with grace and intelligence. She welcomed the Spanish with diplomacy, but there was more to it. Yes, she may have sought some peace and mutual respect, but she tried to move past the point of European betrayal, and so Zaragua, under Anacaona's rule, was a hub of Taino art, music, and ritual. Accounts by Spanish chroniclers, including Bartolomé de las Casas, describe Anacaona as both beautiful and wise, capable of engaging Spanish officials in diplomacy while upholding the traditions of her people. She organized ceremonial dances and poetry gatherings to both honor her ancestors as well as maintain the peaceful relations. Her golden hall, decorated with palm fronds and symbols of the Zemis, became a place of intercultural exchange, but also a place of tension as colonial expansion encroached on indigenous sovereignty. And so, unfortunately, there was a betrayal at Jaragua. Anacaona's peace was not destined to last. Spanish Governor Nicolas de Ovando, suspicious of the independence and the influence of the Taino leadership, planned a massacre disguised as diplomacy. He invited 80 of the leading Taino caciques to a supposed celebration in Jaragua, which is now Leogan in Haiti. Anacaona, ever the gracious hostess, welcomed him and his entourage, but Ovando's intentions were treacherous. At a signal, his soldiers seized the unarmed caciques, tied them up, and set fire to the building where they were gathered. All were burned alive. Anacaona herself was spared immediate execution, but she was eventually imprisoned. Then she was subjected to a kangaroo mock trial and eventually hung in Santo Domingo in 1504. The betrayal of Jaragua marked a tragic turning point in the colonization of the Caribbean. With the death of Anacaona and the extermination of Taino leadership, the Spanish further solidified their brutish control over Hispaniola. The genocide of the Taino accelerated. By the mid-16th century, their population had collapsed under the weight of disease, slavery, and violence. Anacaona's legend and legacy did persist onward, though. She did not die, not truly, because her story lived on through oral tradition, through folktale, and later nationalist and anti-colonial narratives. She became a martyr of her people, a symbol of dignity in the face of subjugation, while European chroniclers such as Las Casas mourned her unjust death. It was in the hearts of the Afro-Caribbean and the indigenous peoples of the Americas that her legend blossomed and refused to die. In Haitian folklore, Anacaona is often seen as a spirit, or loi, of wisdom and vengeance. She is said to guide those who fight for justice, whispering truths to the oppressed and giving strength to those who resist tyranny. In Dominican memory, she is remembered as a noble queen whose name evokes sorrow and pride. Across the Caribbean, poems, songs, novels, and plays have resurrected the spirit of Anacaona, presenting her as a foundational heroine. She is a Caribbean Antigone, indigenous Joan of Arc of the West Indies. In literature, her image appears in the works of authors such as Jacques Rouman, Julia de Burgos, and Loida Maritza Perez. In music, her name is sung in merengue, reggae, and Haitian folk songs. In monuments across Hispaniola, her likeness stands tall, often draped in golden robes, a reminder of her enduring beauty as well as her strength. Anacaona is truly a hero, and to understand Anacaona's heroism, one must look beyond the tragic ending that happened in her life. Like many legendary heroes, her story is one of sacrifice, moral clarity, and the defense of her people's dignity. Her heroism was not forged on the battlefield alone. It was rooted in wisdom, culture, and a refusal to forsake humanity in the face of annihilation. Joseph Campbell's monomyth, or hero's journey, offers a useful framework for analyzing Anacaona's legend. While her story doesn't fit perfectly within the Western narrative arc, the themes of departure, trial, sacrifice, and legacy are strikingly persistent and present. Her departure begins with her marriage to Caonabo and her assumption of leadership. Her trials are numerous: political intrigue, the death of her husband, the cultural erosion under Spanish occupation. Her ultimate sacrifice, her life for her people, cements her transformation from ruler to legend. More importantly, Anacaona's heroism is gendered in a powerful way. As a woman, she embodies both maternal nurturing and fierce resistance. Her femininity is not a constraint, but a source of strength, expressed through poetry, song, and diplomacy. In this, she mirrors other mythic women leaders, Cleopatra, Zenobia, Boudica, who used intelligence and charisma to fight against overwhelming odds. Reclaiming Anacaona in the modern times is something that is necessary and important for the future. Revival of Anacaona's image in the 20th and 21st centuries coincides with broader movements to decolonize history and reclaim indigenous voices. In Haiti and the Dominican Republic, scholars and activists have highlighted the role of Taino heritage in national identity, challenging the idea that the Taino were exterminated and instead emphasizing cultural survival. They integrated. Anacaona was a rallying symbol for Afro-Indigenous feminism. Her story is still taught in the schools to this day. Her face appears in murals, and her name is evoked in political discourse. In 1978, the all-female Haitian musical group Anacaona was formed to celebrate her legacy through music rooted in resistance and joy. The group's name, like the woman herself, became a fusion of past and present, legend and living art. In recent years, archaeological and ethnographic research has even begun to unearth more about what the life of the Taino were like, their rituals and their cosmology. And so there have been efforts to recognize Anacaona as a national heroine, particularly in Haiti, and these have gained traction with petitions, historical commemorations, and even educational reforms honoring her place in Caribbean history. Anacaona has an enduring message for one and for all. At its heart, Anacaona's story is not merely a tale of loss, it's a testament to endurance, and to identity, and to the power of culture in the face of colonization, and systemic destruction. She represents the wisdom of indigenous governance, the sanctity of diplomacy, and the moral authority that arises from integrity and compassion. In a world still plagued by colonial aftershocks, Anacaona offers a reminder that heroes need not conquer with weapons alone. Her power is rooted in storytelling, ritual, and the careful weaving of relationships between peoples. Though betrayed, she was never actually silenced. Though executed, she was never actually erased from the face of existence. The golden flower continues to bloom in the collective memory of the Caribbean, a symbol of what was, what is, and what can be reclaimed. And in the spirit realm, I view Anacaona as an ascended master as well as an angelic guardian of Hispaniola. Beyond the annals of history and the firelit retellings of oral tradition, Anacaona has evolved into something greater. She has become a spiritual archetype, an angelic guardian, and an ascended master in the great beyond. In the metaphysical consciousness of the Caribbean and among the esoteric traditions of the African diaspora, Anacaona is not only to be remembered as a historical figure, but venerated as a divine presence who continues to protect and guide the people of Hispaniola. If you've ever listened to the Haitian artist Dieudonné Larose, he has a song about Anacaona that tells her story. And in Vodou-inflected folklore and Caribbean spirituality, Anacaona's spirit is said to walk among the living, cloaked in golden light, giving inspiration to others to fight back. Through temples, through statues, through memory, poetry, drumming, and ritual, she is known to appear in dreams, in visions, and ceremonies, especially during times of great upheaval or transformation. As an ascended master, she is seen as one who completed the cycle of earthly suffering and transcended into a higher realm, now working through the etheric planes to defend the land and uplift its people. Queen Anacaona, the golden flower, has become more than just a symbol of resistance. She has become a radiant force of healing, justice, and divine feminine power. In spiritual circles, she is a heavyweight associated with Sophia, Isis, and Shekinah, manifestations of sacred womanhood, wisdom, and mother energy. As an angel of the Caribbean, she carries the frequency of compassion and unyielding truth, standing tall and standing guard over the island of Hispaniola with wings made of firelight and the fragrance of hibiscus and tobacco. For those who practice ancestral reverence, Anacaona is called upon in altars and prayers as a spiritual protector and guardian of women, children, artists, and leaders who walk upright with integrity. She offers her golden wisdom to poets and politicians alike, whispering strength into the hearts of those who stand up against corruption, injustice, and exploitation. As an interdimensional guide, Anacaona assists spiritual seekers in remembering who they are, children of earth, water, song, and spirit. Some esoteric traditions even hold that Anacaona is one of the great teachers in the Council of Light, beings who watch over humanity's evolution from the higher dimensions. Her role is to awaken the soul of the Caribbean and to remind its descendants of their sacred connection to the land, the stars, and the ancestral flame. And so she has spurred this in me, and I created this video about her because I feel the connection, I feel the vibration, I feel the harmony and resonance with everything that she was. As a spirit of the great beyond, Anacaona lives on in the golden flame within the Caribbean soul. Her presence is felt in ocean breezes, in the rhythm of congas and the maracas, in the quiet resilience of the island people. She has never faded. She has always risen. In the realm of the ancestors, Anacaona is crowned not with gold or laurel, but with light, and with the higher place she continues to bloom forever, the queen of the golden flower, the guardian of Hispaniola, and the eternal heroine of Haiti and the Dominican Republic, as well as the Caribbean at large. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content.